the guru of Squad 000, the assassin like no other. Yes, I am the best at what I do. Is here to bring you my 15th death match. Yeah, boy. This time, I'm bringing you one of the most debated amongst comic book superhero fans, amongst comic book fans, amongst fans of, you know, the modern era of fiction. Now, it's not one of the, you know, outright ones, but because of their positions as both kings of Atlantis in their own universes, this is a very dicey one, very similar one indeed, and it's something I need to go on about. So without further ado, from the left side, we are here to bring you the one who goes by several names, several titles, but whose official birth name is Orin, whose human name is Arthur. He's been around for a good minute. He's one of the founders of the Justice League. He is very interesting character to say the least. What side he falls on is usually on the side of the heroes. Although, if you cross his folks, expect some repercussions. He is none other than the famous, yet underrated, Aquaman. And coming from the right side, he's one that should need no introduction. He also has a few different titles. His personality is quite polarizing. I personally love him. I've grown up with both these characters, especially Aquaman, but I love him in this one definitely even more so. Just saying, no bias though. Anyways, let me just get right to it. He is none other than Namor the Submariner. Let us begin. Like I said, I grew up with Aquaman. Aquaman was among like the first 8 I really ever knew about in DC, as far as the heroes go, right? I mean, his battles with Black Manta are legendary. I'm not even gonna front. Namor, I came to love him. You know, like I say, I don't have bias in any of these, but I do love me some Namor the Submariner. His personality is phenomenal. One of the first, if not the first, anti-hero in comic book history. He's actually said to be the first one to actually be able to fly. He sided with villains, or at times they were anti-villains. He sided with, you know, Dr. Doom, Magneto. He sided with the Avengers, with the Defenders. One of the original 3 of the Defenders. 3 and 4, I should add. You know, Aquaman, his legacy, you know, he's been dumbed down these days, and a lot of people's concerned, but don't get it twisted, just through the throw hands. Both these guys really know how to throw hands. So this is actually one of the more, I don't know, fairer matches that people normally talk about. Because a lot of times when people talk about stuff, they're either ignorant or they underplay a dude, they don't know about the full extent. But these dudes really seemingly on par, just saying that off rip. Okay, when you do the research, you know, going into this one, I thought it was a clear favorite, and you'll understand why. But when I'll just go say Namor, you know, going into this, I thought he was a clear favorite. But when I actually put in the research, I found that it's much more, they're much more equivalent than I first imagined. So let's go into this analysis, as I always do. Just had to get all of that out the way so that the people can understand the origins of this. Okay. And really, actually, the origin of this battle is Comic Von and a few other sites I sometimes go to, and like, there's a massive debate. A lot of people have Namor, but a lot of people are saying Aquaman. And it's not really, in this case, it's not much fanboyism in either DC or Marvel. Surprisingly enough, that's another reason why this debate right here is one of the best. Okay. Now, as I always do, I have 3 categories: attack, defense, and strategy. Okay, and under each category are a few different subcategories. Beginning, as I always do, with attack. Under attack, if you don't know my routine by now, it's strength. Talking about physical strength, ladies and gents. Speed, talking about combat speed. This case, I'll add in, there's a special element to these 2 cats, and you'll understand when I get to that. Techniques. Okay, all these different abilities and powers for the most part. powers and abilities. Number 4, the fourth one is DC, destructive capacity / power. Now, to the strength, I will already off rip say they're pretty much on par. They're pretty much even. It's going to pretty much be a draw because a lot of their ability depends on how much they've been hydrated. Now, overall, if they're in the water, Aquaman, from the knowledge I've gained, slightly edges them out. But that's when we come to lifting strength and stuff like that. But at the same time, Submariner, it's not if they were to, a wrestle, I can't say who would come off. Now, if it's on land, it's something very interesting. Both their weaknesses, they've been out of water. Although Aquaman gets highly more affected than Submariner does, because Submariners live long periods without being it. But he just goes more or less normal strength. Aquaman, it affects him, but he goes more or less normal strength. In that one case, he had amnesia. But the thing is, and as soon as he was put back in water, pretty much he regained himself and his his Atlantean abilities, right? Both of these are super Atlanteans, by the way, through royal blood and all that kind of jazz. Submariner's a little bit different though. Just learn the history and know what I'm talking about. But as far as an Aquaman, this dude literally, I don't believe he can go weeks without water. So if this goes in a long-term battle, depends on how much time they're in water and how much time they're on land. I'll get more to location later. Let me just say that. So as of now, I'm just laying out the groundwork. They're pretty much even. Now, when it comes to combat speed, again, they're pretty much even, except in water. Now, water gets very interesting because normally you could say transit speed, but at the same time, fighting underwater, these dudes are very fast, and it's said that Aquaman may be the fastest swimmer. He edges out if it's in water, especially in bursts. He can hit up to 1,000 knots. Normally he can range around 150 miles per hour, while Submariner maxes out about 100. Will they always fight that fast underwater? No. But if it's underwater, Aquaman does have the slight edge. If it's on land, it's about even. But at the same time, here's the thing. Submariner can fly because of wings on his, wing-like fins, something along, wings or fins. It depends on which depiction you go by. So on land, I'd have to give the edge to Submariner. If it's in the water, Aquaman has the edge. So that one, again, they're about even because of that factor. Now, when it comes to techniques, there's a boatload like to use them, but here's where it's interesting. Aquaman, there was a time, okay, let me put it this way. He knows how to use various weapons, but I'll get more into their fighting styles later. But anyways, techniques. In this case, I'll use their most prime abilities. None of this, craziness. He has the water hand. I'll throw that in there. The water bearer hand, which was given to him by the Lady of the Lake. There's reasons why I give this ability to him. He's able to negate with the water bearer. The water bearer hand. He's able to negate magic because of Atlantean roots. Scalding hot water. He's able to turn it into various forms of weaponry. What else? Some type of dimensional portal action going there. And yeah, he also has one of his most known abilities is the ability to telepathically communicate with all fish, all forms of marine life, including plankton, which is beastly as hell, by the way. He's able, he's got the super strength, super speed, super agility, super, a lot of enhancements along his physical stats. Okay, anything else? What other techniques does he use in general? Oh, he also has very enhanced eyesight to the point where he can see clearly under 36,000 feet. Like pretty much the Marianas Trench. He can see down there. He can see the deepest seas. So, keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to Submariner also has excellent eyesight. I don't believe it's at the same level as Aquaman. I already mentioned his ability to fly. Submariner, he has pretty much the same enhanced, all those crazy enhanced capabilities that Aquaman has as far as in physical traits. The Submariner, he can summon. He also has very highly skilled, even more so in weaponry, even more so than Aquaman. He has the Trident of Neptune, for example. It declared him king, but it's beastly in of itself. He's got the Horn of Perseus or something along with Perseus, and he can summon creature like Giganto, but he doesn't normally summon creatures. He normally fights by himself. He also has, both of them have skin where, from what it seems, Submariner, and I'll get to this more, Submariner's skin is a little bit better, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's see. Enhanced vision, like I mentioned, it's not as great. He, I'm trying to remember all of his abilities. Oh yeah, from time to time, he does have magical ability because of his Atlantean roots, and he's able at times to use like the abilities of various sea life, like electricity channeling, for like example, ills, radar sense, okay, and a few other abilities as well. So on when it comes to abilities, they're more or less once again on par. Okay. Now, destructive capacity. This one is clear to me. While both are very powerful, Aquaman, he's not on the level of strength and destruction as Superman and Wonder Woman. Okay. He can throw them hands. Don't get it twisted. He can destroy, but he's not really shown to be much of a destroyer dude. While Submariner is near, if not on par, with the level of power that the Hulk packs. So on the very fact that he can clash properly with the Hulk, you have to give the power to Submariner. So overall, because of the power feat alone, I have to give the edge slightly in the attack category to Namor the Submariner. When it comes to defense, I break it down into four subcategories. I have reaction time, durability, stamina, and agility, which are all important in their own rights. Right. Reaction time, both of them are pretty much on par. Who's to say who has greater reaction time? It may edge. I will say this. It probably edges slightly to Aquaman, actually, because with the Submariner, while his reaction time is beastly, he's more of an offensive fighter, so he doesn't worry as much, but he does get hit quite a bit. But at the same time, if it's on land, once again, they're more on par. If it's underwater, it's definitely going to Aquaman. So with that, I have to give it slightly to Aquaman, to be fair. But it's pretty close. That's why I said it's nearly on par. When it comes to durability, it edges to Namor the Submariner, and here's why. With Aquaman, he can take bullets, like normal bullets, but like, high caliber bullet will hurt him. He's resistant to massive amounts of water pressure. He's resistant to a lot of physical attacks. Although, like I said, he's near Superman and Wonder Woman, but I wouldn't necessarily guarantee he's on par. Okay, what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? But he can throw them hands with them. With the Submariner, he's resistant to machine gun fire. He's resistant to all those. So right off rip, he has a more resistant skin than Aquaman does. Not only that, like I said, he can clash with dudes like Hulk, Thor, some of these other phenomenal cats in the Marvel universe. Some of these top tiers, if not top tiers. The Submariner, it depends if they catch him off guard. Really though. But if it's a fair, full-on battle, I throw the Submariner against just about anybody. So with that alone, the durability goes to Submariner. So they're tied 1-1 in the defense category. Now we go into stamina. And once again, it favors the Submariner. And here's why. Like I said earlier, out of water, if it ends up in a long battle, they both dumb down. But Aquaman is more severely weakened, I should say, and can thus be harmed more severely. Also, at this point, both of them pretty much can live underwater, for whatever. But at the same time, though, with Submariner, it's something about his balance. They're not exactly sure what it is at this point, but something about his balance. There's a theory about his balance between the surface and the underwater. Although it may just be, some also theorizing that it might just be his upbringing and whatever. But he may, because of his mental situation with his violent mood swings, with for that being said. But because of the whole land factor, and they will fight on land at some point. It probably will start out on land, may go to the water, and then may go back to land or whatever. I have to give it to the Submariner in the death match. 2-1 for the Submariner. Now, when it comes to agility, neither of them have massive amounts of agility. So this one I will leave up to y'all to decide. I don't know. I mean, they both, I'm not gonna say they're not, I can't say excellent, I can't say decent. I'll say they're good. At this point I'll say they're good, because neither of them, focus on agility. They focus on more strength based, although their reaction time makes up for a lot of what their offensive power, may be lacking in the battle. So keep that in mind. So as of now, the Submariner also edges out in defense, but the Aquaman is right up there with him. So this is like, it's not pulling hairs, but it's pretty damn close. Now here's where the end game really comes into play. Strategy, and there's 3 subcategories of strategy. There is location, fighting style, and fighting IQ. Okay, which people generally sleep on. Now, when it comes to location, obviously I brought up about surface and underwater throughout this entire death match. But then there's the whole air factor, the fact that Aquaman as of now can't fly, and Namor can. Okay, if it's underwater, Aquaman pretty much has the advantage. If it's on land, Submariner has the advantage. But they'll fight in both. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Advantage doesn't necessarily mean you're winning, but it just means you have an advantage. They won't be fighting in space as far as I know, so we don't have to take anything into that consideration. In an underground would make things very interesting, actually. So that one's a big question mark. Underground battle, that'd be interesting. Especially consider undersea caves and stuff. It'd be very, very interesting. Now we go to fighting style. Both are hand-to-hand combat. Would I say masters? Yeah, I'd say masters. Now, Namor has lived a bit longer and has had even more battles than Aquaman does, and even more solo battles than Aquaman has. He's fought all kinds of, all kinds of things, from demons and whatnot. But Aquaman's done no slump in his battles either. I think he's close to the age of the Submariner as far as I know. The fighting styles, they prefer hand-to-hand, although both can use weaponry. I would say Namor uses it better in general. Also, both are great strategists, to be honest with you. So mainly it's a close range battle, although Aquaman does rely a lot of times on sea life, on marine life, so that'll come into factor. How much will it affect Namor, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see in that one. But just keep that in mind. A lot of hand-to-hand, some mid-range attack, some very few long-range attacks. Very similar in their style of fight, although it's different. Do they have a technical martial arts? I'm not aware of that as of now. Now, to the final category, fighting IQ. Like I said, they're both great at strategy. They're both very battle hardened, very much experienced in combat. Who has the greater fighting IQ? I would say Namor a little bit more. And here's why. They're both experts in combat. And something I'll add in at the end of this death match as well to help determine the winner. Namor's fighting IQ. Like I said, this guy fights by himself even more than Aquaman does. Aquaman, he's more so keeping the peace with his people. Namor is a warrior king, okay? And he's fought a great deal of amount of people. Now, he's taking some L's. They both have. Of course, people take L's. But Namor, you know, he's able to deduce a lot of situations pretty quickly. When it comes to battle, and even when it comes to dealings of state affairs, okay. Like I say, it's not a walk in the park, but he does, because once again, as many types of foes as he's faced, you know, just also pretty much all across the board, what you're gonna see in battle. So with that, you know, from martial artists to magicians to, you know, brawlers to you name it, he's fought. He's street fighter, street fighting master in Luke Cage. He's beat him. You know, just just one example of his track record. You feel me? And he's also fought alongside the Hulk, Doctor Strange, the Valkyrie. What's her name? Valkyrie. You know, he's fought along some of the best. Nighthawk. He's fought along Civil Service, some of the best combatants in his universe, you know, especially on this planet. So, you know, keep that in mind. With all that being said, who wins this death match? It's Namor. And it's not because I know he's fighting IQ barely edges. It's not, you know, super significant in this case. Physical traits barely edge out, but that's not the overly significant. But here's one key factor as to why Namor wins this death match. It's their mentality. Okay. Aquaman can kill, but he has this code of honor, code of ethics that he does not. He wouldn't even kill Black Manta, and I understand the non-revenge factor, whatever. But he would not kill him, even when Black Manta killed his son. When it comes to Namor, this guy, he doesn't just recklessly kill, but he will murk a fool without a question. His allegiances depend very situational. Okay, he is truly an anti-hero, the first anti-hero in comics. This dude will murk a fool. And also, I should have added his strategies on the level of I won't say, what is it on the level of Deathstroke from DC? Well, you know, keep that in mind, possibly. But yeah, man, like this dude ain't completely ruthless, but he'll murk a fool far quicker. So there's not much hesitation with Namor. Whether there might be a little bit of hesitation, even if he has a slight upper hand when it comes to Aquaman. So putting all those factors in the calculation, like I said, it wasn't as clear cut as I thought it might be. But overall, I have to give the win to Namor the Submariner in this death match. It's a tight one. It would take a long while, but Namor would wear down Aquaman enough. He would pull out enough strategy. How long this battle it may be, a couple days at least. I would just the initial response, as many as 5 to 10, is short as maybe a day. Depends. It just depends on how serious these two kings would be in the clash, and how lethal they initially are trying to be. Okay. Depends on what scenario, because it may just be in a war. If it's an individual beef, I don't think they would fight normally. But given their two, especially Namor, whose personality, like, if you cross him, if he views that you cross him, he down for that for killer season, for murder season, for doggone and he ain't neither are afraid of being KIA, but definitely not Namor. This dude, he just goes in. But the unexpected one, to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on this death match. Very interesting one. Very tough one. Okay, especially when I gave Aquaman without that water bearer hand. It's a more clear cut thing, or even if with his prosthetic hand. But that water bearer hand, though, that junk ain't nothing to play with. So, you know, and you know, he can summon things with it as well. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace. Till next time. Hopefully, and no promises. I know I said this, but hopefully the next Deathmatch 16 will come sometime these next few days. Hopefully. If I don't, you know, get busy with other things, if my mind's focused. Because I like to bring y'all research. I like to bring y'all the logic, reason, facts, and evidence. The pure analysis of the situation at hand. Alright, y'all. Peace.